Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we look at two things. The first is a bit of technology that the pre-fall Aeldari used before Slaanesh went and ate most of their souls, and then we look at how the Aeldari psykers are so powerful that they can counter the future seeing of others and take control of the strands of fate. Let's begin. Azurian, god of the Aeldari, has the ability to see futures, and the Phoenix Lords have access to a device called the slaanesh. This is a pre-fall Aeldari technology. With it, they can access the dreams of their god and scry the future and see into the material world as well. Azraman uses it and felt his mortal gaze drawn further and further into the globe until he was utterly lost within it. He saw the skein of a moment as the Firesies witness it, a terrifying, impossible mesh of interlocking and overlapping fates. He saw his own thread, sapphire and vibrant, unbroken for an age, from Azraman, hand of Azurian. The Fate Callers were able to see what had occurred, to use the slaanesh to scry the fortunes beyond our realm and see the devastation wrought by the arrival of She Who Thirsts. The heart of Azurian, Azraman said sharply, noting the word Morgan Ra had used. What is this? A seeing orb, very powerful and rare, the last of its kind, I think. The name, why is it called the slaanesh? It is a part of a mechanism older even than the library, explained Morgan Ra. The other parts existed in different places and times, linked through this central processor. This room, the slaanesh, was created to allow multiple viewers to access the same data networks, mine the same psychic delving. The Fate Callers, the scholars that built this library, did not just seek physical study. They breached space and time using the slaanesh to draw visions from across the fates continuum. Many could witness at once the same events, those past and those yet to be, each from a unique perspective. That's from Jane's the Storm of Silence. The Phoenix Lords themselves are important. They are referred to in these two next passages as the Azayata. Azraman speaks to Eldred Ulthuan, the chief Farseer of Ulthwé. You are wrong, which cannot often be said, Azraman assured the seer. I know. I have seen what will happen. I was too late. How can you see such a thing when I have not? Eldred scoffed at the idea. Not even with all the seers of the galaxy would I be able to pierce the veil that is the storm of the Rana Dandra. I know that you are constantly drawn to unhappier fates and great moments in history when countless lives entwine and hang in the balance, nodes of invisible futures. That is where you will be. It is the doom of the Azayata, but all is not lost. You have it wrong, Azurian himself guides his Azayata. You know that. We do not follow fate, it follows us. These nodes of invisible futures do not draw us, we are the nodes. The sky bends to our presence. The fate of all others may be hidden from me, but my own is as clear as crystal. That's from Azraman, hand of Azurian. Then, to the Storm of Silence. To underline this, the Azayata are nodes for the skein, and while their future is fixed, the set of all other pathways to those futures seems to bend around their decisions in a way that's actually visible upon the skein. Another interesting ability the Aeldari have when it comes to seeing the future is being able to counter the future seeing of others. Orokin the Diviner notes that the tides of the warp affect his future predicting. You can hide from the future sight so as not to be part of that equation, or overpower someone else's predictions, as in the next excerpt. Take an Aeldari is this next passage shows how to break through the precognitive effects of the warp. Take looked closer, subtly, manipulating the skein, but could see little more. The great mind of the Tyranids blocked his sight, the psychic roar of it hampering all attempts at divination. He saw again and again the same scene, hordes of horrific beasts bounding over a dusty plain. An echo of beauty clung to the planet's dead world spirit. An elder world, an old one. A name, Duriel, came into his mind, and then another, Valador, given to it by the trespassing Mon K. A wall-barred take, the shadow in the warp, was directly before him. He wondered if it could sense his probing, if it had any inkling he was there. The strands balked at the dense alien being, ran around it, as if these lines of time and space were in fear of it. The skein twisted, went within the nexus. Few strands escaped. Take was not to be denied, summoning all his willpower and channeling it through the rapidly orbiting runes. He looked deep into this pivotal moment of time, smashing aside the blankness of the hive mind. What Take saw froze him to the core. Two breeds of void spawn came together as a world died. They fought in savage mating, Duriel's dying lands, fertile fields for their joining. Hive fleets merged, and new forms of death were there. Then from another book, far-ranging hunger joins with starving dragons. Two become one. Two become one. From Valador. Next up, Farseers can also combine their abilities in a mind crier, which also lets them break through the future-seeing effects of another. To counter their efforts to control the future, in this next excerpt, two seers, Take and Kelmon, want to see the future being hidden by the hive mind. They and other seers use something called the mind choir. This confirms the individual prophecies of those involved, and then they perform the feat again whilst battle goes on, and in the middle of a shadow in the warp from two parts of the hive fleet. So a pretty bloody cool feat by the Aeldari. Let's go through it. I cannot see the full truth, said Kelmon, and for a moment his voice took on some of the pride and power he had had in life. Not past the wall of thought that surrounds the great dragon. I am blinded by its mind as much as you. We require a conclave, many seers acting in concert, the Athelin Bahail, the mind choir, that will see us to the truth of the matter and open up the skein so that we may draw our plans. Both the living and the dead attended. The circles were set so that the crystal forms of 8 seers gone before were incorporated. Their spirits had been coaxed from deep in the circuit, and the statues glimmered uncannily. Their powers had diminished as their connection with the world had diminished, but with the blinds of life removed, their witch sight was far clearer than that of the living. Take guided the others. The majority of them worked to keep the great dragon's shadow clear from the seeing. How, shouted one, the skein is draped in all in shadow. The future is hidden to us. The mind choir, as we did upon Eandon, to good effect. It can be done here. Let us do it, said Take. So that wraps up our video for today. I really like the psychic might of the Aeldari here, able to even bend the precognitive powers of the Tyranid hive mind and brush it out of the way. That's quite a feat, isn't it? I also like the concept of them being able to take control of the strands of fate in the first place, and being able to take control of them. It shows a much more hands-on effort than we get with the Emperor, for example, who seems to look at the future and try to control what he can. For example, during the Matter of Mankind, he speaks to a Custodes Ra about how he sees fate. It goes something like, he's in the river of time and he's trying to reach the shore, but the current struggles against him and he can reach the shore or might be swept away. Sort of sounds like the Aeldari would take control of the river and redirect it so that they can walk through the riverbed to reach the shore with little hindrance. It does beg the question though, if they are so great at this future seeing, why is their race still struggling to achieve victory in any meaningful way? Anyway, hope you enjoyed this Aeldari lore video. Drop me a comment down below, and if you like this video, why not try this one?